Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and welcome to my social skills channel where I will be uploading videos to help teach you how to talk to people better, how to be less anxious in social settings, and how to have more successful interactions with others because this is something that a lot of people struggle with. And if you don't know, over the past year, I've been doing private sessions online with people, helping them in this area, and it's just been an amazing experience. I've loved it so much, and I've wanted to do a video series to accompany that for a while and to hopefully put some information out there that would be accessible to a lot more people, because I just want, in the end, I want to make it easier for people to talk to others and to have meaningful interactions and to make really, really good friends. So I'm hoping that I can share my experience in this area to help others. So think of this channel as sort of my own personal socializing guidebook. And these are some of the things that have worked for me over the years and have worked with the people that I've worked with. So I'm hoping that they'll also work for you. So we're going to start with the basics. And the foundation of everything is being prepared to talk about yourself, because this is something that is going to come up over the years, no matter who you talk to, new coworkers, new friends. You are going to have to learn how to talk about yourself and be comfortable talking about yourself too. And a lot of people, you'd be surprised, aren't able to answer me right off the bat when I say, so tell me a little bit about yourself. What are some of your interests and your hobbies? And they think, okay, well, what are my interests and my hobbies? What am I interested in? What are the sort of things I do in my free time? Some people have trouble answering this question. And if you are one of those people that struggle with talking about yourself, then my little homework assignment for you this video is going to be to write a bit about yourself. You can even take these little topics right here. Maybe just write a couple paragraphs about what are the sort of things that you like to do? What are the sort of things that you spend your time on the weekends when you're not working or when you're not in school? What is it that you like to pass time doing? And I want to say, I do have a whole video planned on this topic, but browsing Twitter, browsing social media is not a hobby. It's not a good interest. Don't sink hours of your life just doom scrolling on Twitter, reading and just regurgitating things, and it's not really beneficial for you. So I challenge you to find a hobby that is tangible, that you can show progress in, that you can excel. For me, for example, I'm learning French, and it's been a very, very exciting, frustrating, but fun journey. And I've had a lot of good experiences with it, and it will lead to a lot of good experiences. So if you don't have anything of note, any interests or hobbies that you can think of off the top of your head, I would say just sit down and try and brainstorm some things that you can start looking into. There are a ton of different areas. If you're a very active person, you could do something fun like kayaking or hiking or rock climbing. And these are hobbies that are going to have social groups attached to them too. So it's really, really good when you are trying to meet people if you look for something that you have common interest in with other people. And for this section, the goal isn't to seem so quirky and strange and unique. I love that you're quirky, strange, and unique. I want you to stay that way. I don't want anyone to take that away from you. But the goal of talking about yourself to someone is not to try and impress them. It's not to try and stand out and try and be a reed, an unwavering reed blowing in the wind, or whatever the quote is from You've Got Mail. It's not to try and show someone that you're better. It's to try and give them something there that it's something they can grab onto and go from. You want to give someone an idea about yourself. And I think interests and hobbies are probably the two things that I'd start with. So for work, school, and personal life, these are just what do you do for a living? Do you like it? What are you studying in school? Personal life, don't get too personal. You don't want to overburden someone. Just keep it kind of surface level, superficial. Do you have any dogs? Do you have any pets? You married? Are you single? Those things that aren't going to be so offensive to someone. You don't want to ask, oh, so how did you vote in the last presidential election? Don't get too personal. Just kind of keep it surface level and light and fun. So the next thing that you want to keep in mind is socializing is a skill. It's called social skills. It's like learning a language or learning an instrument or learning how to knit. You have to practice every day if you want to get better. And getting better does not come without practicing every day. You're not going to be able to play a Moonlight Sonata at your first piano recital. You are not going to be able to walk into a room having no experience or having bombed in the past and charm every single person in there your first. You might, but I think it would be very, very rare. So don't create unrealistic expectations for yourself. Don't create scenarios in which you are bound to fail because you have set your hopes so high on the outcome. This is something that the people I've talked to struggle with, is the anxiety of how the conversation is going to go inhibits them from taking any movement at all. So instead of talking to someone, they would rather not go through the feeling of it having crashed miserably, so then they don't even try. And that is part of having these expectations that are just, they're just set too high and they're not realistic given your experience and given your background. So you are not going to be able to have every single flawless experience in the beginning when you're working on this. You are going to have some moments where you think, oh my gosh, why did I say that? That was so stupid. Or you look back and you say, oh, that was, I could have gone better. Hi, I made a mistake. And you're going to have those moments. Don't let them stop you. Just sort of expect, okay, it's going to be rough in the beginning, but it will get better, and I will learn what techniques work. And again, that comes with practicing daily. Just, you have to get out there and do it. Oh, so this is a good one. Be open to change. And a lot of times with socialization, I will see people who have negative personality traits or negative qualities that they're not even aware of, or that they are so determined to hold on to. And it's not working, and I don't know why my approach isn't working. I try investing money in new things. I can't meet people. It might be that there is an aspect of your personality that you have to review, and you might have to change. So if you are kind of set on being the moody, critical, angry guy who always has something negative to say, and you're not really that socially successful, you might have to give up on that. You might have to part with that personality and say, you know what? I'm done investing in the moody, cranky, existential guy. I'm going to try and be the more open-minded guy with a funny thing to say. You try a more positive trait. Try replacing some more positive traits, getting rid of some of those negative qualities, and you will probably see a noticeable improvement in your interactions. And this is a big one because I didn't even kind of realize this was a thing until I started to meet with people. But don't feel pressured to change your energy level. So this goes back to the whole introverted, extroverted thing. And do being in large crowds drain you? And do you feel like you have to be bubbly and exciting and friendly? And I have to, build myself up to the same level as the people I'm around. And you absolutely do not have to do that, especially if it's not something that feels comfortable for you. I would never say, you know what your problem is? You just have to go out there and you just have to be more social. You have to be more energetic. Some people are not capable of that, and I really don't think that's good advice. I think finding what you are comfortable with and working around there, and then slowly branching out and trying new things works best. Because for me personally, I love my quiet friends. I would never want my quiet friends to change. I like having my quiet friends because it's like nice and cozy talking to them and hanging out with them. And I think that every friend group kind of appreciates that. There's a place in every friend group for every sort of person. You have the more spirited, energetic leader type, and then you have like the quieter types they just provide a great balance. So don't feel like you have to change the way you feel about being around people. Sometimes it can be overwhelming too, like it's exhausting, right? Spending that time around people. Sometimes I even feel this way, where you need a little break, where not every single night you can be holly-go-lightly hosting parties. You kind of need that quiet time too. So this is just part of that. I don't want you to feel like there's something wrong with the way you feel about hanging around people that you have to change. You just have to accept what works best for you and then go from there, which we will explore in future videos for sure. And this is the best piece of advice I can give anyone, is be upfront about what you're doing. Because a lot of the time when you are honest about trying to make friends and trying to meet people, people will latch on to that and they'll be happy to hear it because they can assist. Like me, for example, if I hear someone is trying to, I mean, it's what I've been doing with my sessions online, but when someone says they are trying to make friends or they're rusty, you know, I've been out of the socializing game for a while, I'm trying to get back into it, someone out there is going to want to take the reins and help you with it. It's just such an easy thing to do. It's so easy to be honest with someone and say, I'm rusty. I don't really have a lot of friends and I'm trying to force myself to be more social. I'm watching fantastic videos by a fantastic woman online, my social coach, and she's helping me get out there and motivating me. But if you could invite me to any events, or if you ever want to get lunch or anything, I'd really appreciate it because I'm trying to make an effort. It's just hard for me. So I apologize if I seem rusty and awkward. It's trust me, I'm working on it. I am a work in progress at this point. You just say something like that, it helps, it takes the pressure off too. Because then the other person doesn't think, that was the weirdest conversation I've ever had. That guy is bizarre. He doesn't know how to talk. They might not know that you really don't know how to interact well. You really haven't had a lot of experience. So once you tell them, I think it's great. It's sort of like a curtains drawn aside moment. Someone says, okay, now I get the situation. I will be a little bit more patient. So yeah, I cannot stress that enough. Just be honest with someone. Just tell someone you're trying to make new friends. Tell someone you're trying to socialize more. So quickly, just some icebreaker topics. These are really, really easy. Recent shows, movies, and games. You could talk about the last movie you saw, the last game you played if you play games. Recent shows, what are you watching on TV? These are things that you don't really need to know too much about the other person in order to talk about. And then you'll have a lot to talk about. And there's been times where I've met someone new in a setting and not knowing anything about them, and then just say, so what do you like to do for fun? It's, oh, I like to play games. And that's all you need. You're like, oh, I love games. I love video games. What are you playing right now? And that is enough to propel the conversation forward without the awkward sort of getting to know you stage. You kind of just skip into something, a shared common interest you have. So recent shows, movies, games, super, super easy. It's something usually everyone will be able to give you a response for. Same for upcoming plans. This one is another easy one. What are you doing this weekend? Do you have anything fun planned for Christmas? Do you have any upcoming fun trips? Usually someone will be able to give you an answer as to what they are doing this weekend. And again, just gives you a quick little easy topic to bring up. That way you're not kind of fishing around for something. Work stories are always really fun. I've entertained many an audience with work stories, and I love hearing about people's work stories too. And for a lot of us, you know, your career is such a big part of your life. Your job is such a big part of your life that you have an endless amount of funny stories and just interesting things that you can share with other people. If you have any sort of odd coworkers you can talk about, those are really, really good. And it's fun to talk about it, and it's also fun to listen about it for other people. And other people love talking about things like that too. So that's always a good one you can bring up. Current projects as well. So if you know they're an artistic person, if you know they are musical or they're sporty, you can just say, are you working on anything exciting at the moment? Do you have any fun knitting projects? Or how's your French lessons going? Things that you know someone is involved with are a great way for them to talk about themselves and for you to also get to know them better as well. Now, my last one here. This is so easy that I have to put it here. Asking for suggestions is sort of like it's a cheat sheet into getting someone to talk to you about things. If you go on your work Slack or you go on your Discord server and you're trying to practice more, practicing every day, you can ask people for suggestions. You can say, I've just finished Squid Game on Netflix. Does anyone have any other shows they'd recommend me watching? I just beat Returnal. I'm looking for another console game. Does anyone have anything fun? I've I've been looking for a cozy book. Does anyone have any recommendations? I want a new podcast recommendation. Asking for recommendations is it's endless. I mean, you can, whatever subject you want to ask a recommendation for, someone will probably have an answer for you. And it's an easy way to get to know about someone's interests and their tastes as well, too. So this, when in doubt, just I'd say ask for suggestions from people and you'll mostly always get some sort of answer. So places to socialize. Now that we've given you some icebreaker topics and given you a good framework, where do you socialize? Start with the people around you. Start with your friends. Start with your family members. Reconnect with old friends if you have them. It's going to be much easier for you to use people that are already around you to sort of get into the habit of talking and get into socializing that is for you to meet totally new people out there. And you can even say something for your friends. You can say, hey, I'm sorry I've been quiet recently. I'm trying to be more active though, so if you'd ever like to do anything or if you're going to any events with anyone else, definitely let me know. I'd love to join. Use those connections you already have, because it's a great way to also have a liaison, a wingman to help you socialize other places. Hey, this is my friend Jerry and he's new and he's trying to talk to people more. You'll have a person to help guide you. So this is a really, really good one to do. Just reconnecting with old friends as well, sending a message, checking up on them. It's a good way to get back in the practice of talking to people regularly. Your coworkers should be people that you are able to have relationships with, because you're stuck with them 8 hours a day, commiserating about your boss together, just other shared frustrations at work. It's so important to have that sort of that resource at work, especially, we're stuck at our jobs for the majority of the day, and it helps when you have someone there that you can be friends with. So please, if you haven't thought of your coworkers as a potential friendship source, definitely reconsider that. There might be someone there you can get along with. I've met some of my best friends at work, and it is a game changer when you're working alongside someone that you like. Now, if you have a remote job, as a lot of people have moved entirely to remote and you don't really have that connection, try looking at sources like your work Slack. A lot of companies will have a Slack server or Teams, and they'll have like a social channel that you can look into, or a planning channel or events channel or something like that. Something where you can socialize a bit more outside of work related. So I'd consider maybe getting involved there, setting up game nights or movie nights or something. And even if it's just purely, online conversations at that point too, I think that can be really beneficial to kind of have good people around you at work. So definitely explore that. Online interest groups. Now, I have had a online community for a really, really long time, and I've met some of my best friends in the entire world online, and it's been absolutely incredible being able to meet so many people. And I would not have those experiences if not for the online venues. So don't discount this. I know a lot of people are looking for how to interact better in person, but I think you can have a lot of meaningful interactions online as well, and in good ways too, not just Twitter followers. We're talking about actual friends that you can meet. So if you're able to do some research and find some Discord servers or find some online interest groups that you can join based around hobbies that you like. If you like math, there are math discords. If you're an engineer, there are like different STEM discords out there. If you're a casual gamer, that just look for things where you are going to be able to be around people that you'll have common interest with, and go from there, and hopefully we'll have some success in finding people to talk to. Local events. Now, this is something that I tell people to do when they are trying to practice learning how to talk to people. A little cheat sheet I use is going to your local farmers market. The farmers market is a great place to talk to people because of the it's a different sort of setup. Now you have a vendor who is selling a product, and you have you as a customer, as a neighbor who is interested and wants to hear more about it. And it's a really, really good way to talk to people in a setting that there's not so much pressure. If it goes awry and it doesn't go well and you kind of bomb, it's okay. It's just a farmer's market. It's not the end of the world. And at the same time, you can buy some local honey and support your community. So local events are great. If you go to meetup.com, you can look for hiking events or kayaking, rock climbing, book clubs. There's all kinds of things on there that you can find and meet other people for. So I definitely would consider looking around local events. Sometimes trivia nights at local restaurants you will just show up and they'll assign you a table. So fun things like that you can do are all around you. You just kind of have to do some research and find them. And lastly, school clubs. If you are in school, there are always school clubs, there's teams that you can join. Check out your student union or student organization groups to see a list, like a roster of what's currently available, and just reach out, go to some of the meetings, see what sounds good to you, because it's part of your tuition. You definitely ought to be using that resource. It's a great way to find friends and to meet new people. So that was it for this Foundations Basics video. Thanks so much. Next time, we're going to talk about the positive ways to interact and behaviors to avoid. And this will be a great video for you to watch if you think you might have some negative personality traits that you might need to consider replacing or improving. So check that out. And I do have videos planned every week, so please subscribe and press the little notification bell for updates. And if you want to schedule a private session with me, I'd love to meet with you. You can click the link above or in the video description, and that will take you to a place where you can schedule that. Otherwise, let me know what topics you want to see. I have a lot of fun things planned, but I'd love to hear specific questions that people have as well, so I can plan something around that. And I will see you next video. Bye.